Yo, what's up, everybody? Hey, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is another episode here of Black Box Beat. Whew. And it seems like with the holiday, this week is just flew by. So, nice to see you guys. I'm Kane.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Hells.
Well, let's get
Well,
right into it, right? We've got, what do we got going on this week, guys? We had Fed minutes today. We're coming up on ER season, or the next ER season's coming up. It's a short week. What do y'all got? Kang, you want to start?
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's like time is flying by, and this year is already halfway over, pretty much. I mean, to your point, we're already in a new quarter. Now that we've got the old quarter out the way, now it's time to fire up the old ER engine. Also, we had Fed minutes today, which was kind of a nothing burger. We got a little bit of a dip from that, and looks like the market just kind of bought it all back up. On top of that, we've got a short trading week, but what I am looking forward to is tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow, especially because we've got so much data. We've got services PMI, ISM non manufacturing, um, initial jobless claims, jolts. We've got so much going on. And then, of course, we got the big jobs Friday. So much going on. So, like they said in Step Brothers, so many activities.
yeah, no, a lot going on. It's like in addition to everything that you just threw out there, Kane, we got the same talking points coming back from the Fed via the minutes. So obviously there was nothing there. It was just regurgitating the same stuff. I think Williams just said, we reiterated once again, inflation is too high a couple of seconds ago, and that is their number one battle, inflation. So that's cool. Good way to remain consistent there. A couple other pieces that continue to be interesting to me and kind of looking at everything overall is Janet Yellen will be in China starting tomorrow. They kind of have conversations over there. I don't know if they're trying to rekindle or save or whatever they're trying to do over there, but she's there trying to have conversations. And it appears that in front of that, there's a lot of that posturing positioning that usually happens when these two countries kind of hang out. You have us trying to limit access to cloud and AI chips. You have them saying, "Well, then fine, we're going to limit your the availability of rare earth in order to make these things." It's like this just back and forth, like really crappy version of like a high school musical or Mean Girls going on over there with one another. And in the meantime, we're just kind of just sitting here hanging out. It feels coming back after the holiday that the market was on a complete and utter hangover, like a massive hangover. Like folks really tilted it yesterday and are feeling it today with some of the overall price action. But that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of the score from what I'm looking at. And ER season, like you said, Kang, should be interesting. Just kind of in a wait and see mode in a lot of ways.
Really quickly, I was just going to say, Hills, with China, with this whole China going back and forth, I mean, we're stuck right here at 44.50. I mean, I'll take anything at this point. Can they throw a tariff on something? Like, let's just do something, man. Come on.
Right, but you're right about that because you brought up all the data tomorrow. It's like even if I knew right now, I knew the exact prints of this data coming out tomorrow on every single line item, I would not feel comfortable trying to bet the price action afterwards. And it's because we're in this environment where even if you know what the data is, even if the data comes in the way it's expected, you don't know what the price is because you don't. The narrative is so boggled right now that you don't know what you're chasing. You don't know what you're finding. Only thing that's really going on is there's a red candle. Let's buy it. That appears to be the only thing that's really taking place. All things be damned. It's like red candle buy. It's like even on that dip today, Kang. It's like and Mario
Mhm.
on that dip that they had going down. They were sitting there buying calls the entire way down. They're like, it's going to bounce. It's no worries. Just buy calls and you'll be fine. That's it's like there is a conditioning and a Pavlovian, thing going on right now that it just is what it is. It's like you either
Mhm.
you play with it or you get steamrolled by it. There's no in between.
I agree with you there, 1,000%. It did definitely today was very slow. Flow was slow. Yeah, we had some technical moves that could have been scalped, but it was definitely a very slow day, and it did feel like the market was hungover. And I think it's probably we're in that summertime trading. We're coming up on the next ER season. We're kind of in that lull in between seasons, in addition to it being summertime. So it's definitely slower.
Hey, it's after 4th of July. You all Y'all have all of your five fingers, right? On both sides. Everybody.
Oh, oh wait.
Oh man.
Right? Oh yeah, the fireworks, right?
Oh man. Yeah, they were blowing
It's
those
like
fireworks
in
up
a
like
lot of ways,
crazy.
though, King. I wish I didn't. So I would. There's no chance I could buy puts. It's like in a lot of ways, if I didn't, it's like that would keep me from being like, you know what, this is absolutely moronic. It's like in trying to get in front of this thing and short it. It's like there is just this is one of those markets, and we've seen this over and over again through the years. The three of us have traded for many years together and have seen these environments where it does not matter what's thrown out in front. They are prepared to slaughter anybody even slightly thinking about going short, even slightly thinking about taking on the market to call the top and through here. They are willing to absolutely throttle them, and they do it on a daily basis. So yeah,
And,
maybe I don't. Maybe five fingers. Maybe if I look, I'll give up one if it keeps me from trying to short this thing. I just
Mm.
one. They can have one.
yeah, I gotta say though, and I think we all agree here. I mean, we've seen this before. It works until it doesn't. I would just all I would just say is that trade the trend. It definitely has been to the upside. I agree with you, Hells. I mean that like little dip today that we had that didn't last long at all. And so I definitely agree with trading the trend. But this market is conditioned. I mean, its goal is to screw as many people at one time as possible. And there will come a day where that whole BTFD breaks. But unfortunately, at that time, so many people will be conditioned to buy the dip that it's, we've all seen the movie before. But just, I would just urge people out there to be a little cautious, because when you kind of get all conditioned into one thing, then that's the kind of time that they like to pull that rug or hit the elevator, down button. So y'all be careful out there.
Where'd you go, Mario? You turned
Oh,
into
Mario,
just
Mario
like
straight dip.
that. All right,
There,
gang,
Mario.
she's not here. Are you ready to get into it? Do you want to go ahead and get it on? You ready? You want to?
Yeah, what we gonna talk about? You
I
got any
don't
good
know.
Yo Mama jokes?
Let's see if we can find a topic to go ahead and blow everybody's head up here a little bit and get them going.
All right, brother. Hey, where do you see that? Speaking of which, going right on into the next one, where do you see that money flowing?
This is where it gets like a massive contradiction overall, as far as trying to get in front of this market when like to the downside and looking for a pullback, looking for some profit taking, that kind of stuff. It's like flow is really interesting. It is not bearish. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are struggling with. We're not getting any type of put flow coming through at this point in order to support a downside move. So with that being said, we're also getting some catch-up trades taking place right now that, in a lot of ways defy logic. Like we saw the garbage coming into Nikola. I think they went from selling 11 cars to like 15, and so they get like a 50% boost in market cap. That was cute. For the moment, but it's like some of the other things we are getting a little bit of activity. Bio and pharma getting a little bit of activity coming back in. Is it certain names like Penn, PENN, FCell, Plug, Hood, getting spec flow to the upside? They're getting some activity in some of these names. Crypto flow has been absolutely absurd. It's like Riot, Mara, Mister. All of those cats are just getting absolutely waylaid with call flow coming in. So there still appears to be a risk on mentality, at least with some of the ones that are trying to play catch up. What I'm also seeing a little bit disappointing in is a real lack of any type of bank flow. Goldman Sachs flow is not very friendly. We're not seeing call lines coming into the majors either. And I thought for sure after the stress test, we would start seeing some of that activity move back into banks, as far as being like, okay, everything's cool, everything's fine, let's go ahead and buy. Not necessarily seeing that within the flow, even though the price action has been okay. And I say okay just because it's not pushing down. Bank of America is moving a little bit higher. Some of the others are moving a little bit higher, but the flow is just not there for me, to my eye, on what I thought I was going to see. Travel appears to be a little bit hungover at the same time. Semi flow is all but non-existent. That's kind of with where we are from what I can see.
And I agree. Flow is messy. It's very speculative. It's not in the quality names that I want to see it in. And what does come through is so short term that it's not even worth playing. So, and again, I know we keep saying this. We are going into ER season, and we're in that lull. We have, several weeks there in between ER seasons where we really don't see much of anything, and then we get hit with, all right, is this an ER play or is this an actual flow play? So we're kind of just in right in between there. I do agree with you. Everything's been a lot more speculative, and we'll see what we get. But let's go on to my favorite part of the show, which is Shag, Mary, Kill. Woohoo!
Woo! Ay, 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 ay.
Okay, y'all already know how we play this game. Hells, I believe you are up first.
I'm up first. So I'm still kind of in this overall same position of wanting to stay in the things that I'm in and kind of play, some things that are, that have some momentum. I keep on looking to short, but this is a chart that is very important that I think to look at. This is the ES. This is the S&P futures. This is a 1 hour chart, and this is courtesy of Bender, my partner in crime in the Roadhouse. This is kind of why I continue to hold in this little pattern of like, okay, so what's next? We consolidated in a nice little flag here on the 1 hour, but we broke it to the downside overnight and into the day. As you can see, we bought it all the way back up. So right now we're up against this level of resistance and this massive volume shelf that's developing up and through here that is either going to be like some really significant resistance at the end of the day, or it's going to be a blow off to where we penetrate that thing and rally up to that next yellow line. So we're kind of in between. I'd like to see us retest some lows. I'd like to see that happen. But when we get this type of price action to where we're just kind of really going nowhere, it's difficult for me to put a longer term swing on. So I'm going to continue to watch this chart and let it kind of guide me. We make a lower low on this, I'm going to get short. I'm going to get probably pretty heavily short. If we break above this, I'm going to be pretty heavily long because that's looking like a blow off top in a move probably getting closer to ATH, which is feasible based on what I'm seeing on flow. So I didn't really play the game right. That's just what I see.
I will shag. How about that? I like it. I see it there. It's a shag for me.
I agree with you, Hells. We've been in this tight range here, especially on SPX since Friday, and it's just hard to really make heads or tails of it. I mean, uh, the tight range is not really. I'm not seeing any conviction in either direction. So I agree with you 100%. I'm going to scalp short term, and then once we see a nice breakout, confirm with some volume either up or down, then I'm in like Flynn.
Yeah.
I guess I'm up next. And Mario, really quickly, I was going to say while you're gone, we were talking about we were talking about possible yo mama jokes there for a minute, but that went
Oh,
by pretty quick. And it popped in my mind. It's like at this point, the market is going up so much that you could almost probably make a joke out of the opposite view, which is you could be like, the insult would be like yo mama's so bearish, and then have like something after that.
I think we should start that. I think we should definitely start that. It'll be fun. Let's do it.
There we go. There we go. But I can see a 5-year-old kid on the playground. Like, your mama's so bad. Anyway, um, Meta. Meta is mine. I like this. This is just an update from last week. I don't really have a new pick. That 282 area was really nice support. We dipped below it, but we didn't get a whole lot of volume at all when we broke below that area of support. And so they had some news today that was favorable. The whole threads, thing that's going to come out on Insta. Everybody seemed to like that. So we broke over that 292 area that I'd mentioned last week. Got a nice push up. So here we've pulled back just slightly. We're retesting some prior area of resistance now to see if that's going to hold on as support. And if we can hold on here, I want to see what we're going to do up around 300. But again, that was a nice bounce off of support, pretty much off of that 282 area there on Meta. So I'm still eyeing this one, still watching and monitoring, and we'll see. But I think here on the 4 hour, once it gets out of this compression, if we can get out of this and get some legs, then it should be pretty nice.
Yeah, we saw some pretty significant weekly put writing on the 300s come in today. That looking like it really wants to make a move there, and a little bit of spec flow into the 305s for this week. So I think if there's a ticker that I was absolutely forced to swing to the end of the week to the upside of everything else hanging out there, I think based on the flow alone, Meta would be probably that ticker. When you see that heavy put writing take place on weekly contracts, I think it was pushing like 800K. That's look, somebody's looking for this thing to make that move and to break out over that pennant. So if I were absolutely forced to take something long through the end of the week, it would be Meta. Yeah, no, I think that's a shag to the upside at this point if the market is willing to participate.
It's a shag for me too. And I thank you for mentioning the put writing house. I completely forgot about that. But they did come in and write some puts on the 300s. And I like it. And I'm in the same boat. If I have to pick one ticker to swing, Meta would be a great choice. I think that'd be a good one to swing.
Yeah, and it
Um,
could. Yeah, absolutely.
And my turn. I'm just going to update FedEx. It's still a shag, but a cautious shag. I'm still in the July 14th 255 calls. And if you look at that chart, there's a lot of resistance in that 250-ish area. It's hit it a couple times, tried that area a couple times. Looking at the OI, it still looks good. They are still mostly in that play. Um, so for now, I'm going to hold, but I want to issue just a caution on that. Please stay cautious with this one. It does expire next week, so we do have a little bit of time on it, but keep an eye on that 250 area. And now let's look at a viewer question. I know someone's got a question for us. Let's
Woo.
see. And this is from Day Trader Hoodie. How do you navigate flow during ER season or earnings season? So, a lot of people handle it different ways, right? There's a lot of ways that you can do that. What I like to do is, again, this is looking at flow. If I see or if I've identified a play that is a flow play, or I'm sorry, an ER play, and I like the flow, if it's pristine flow, I will hold it up until ER. Some usually until like the day before or the day of, or sometimes a couple days before ER. I'll play that run up to ER. What I won't do is hold through earnings. So, and I think that's totally fine. You can do that. Or another thing I like to do is when a company drops their numbers, if the market reacts one way or the other, if I see good flow after the earnings, I'll play it post ER. But again, the key there is I'm not holding through the actual report.
Yeah. It's like that's what the advice that you gave is the best possible advice that you can get. You don't want to hold through because you don't know what type of volatility you're going to be faced with after the fact. Even again, just like we were talking about at the top of the show with the data, even if you know for a fact the exact numbers that are going to print, you don't know how the market is going to react. It's like, for example, FedEx and Home Depot, I believe, both guided down, right, on their ER. They're both higher right now than where they reported. So even if you know, even if they guide down, you're like, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to be short. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to get the W. You're going to be wrong, or there's a decent chance you could be wrong. So the best way to play it is like Mario is saying, just be aware of your when they are reporting. Make sure you're building your positions around that. If you are so hell bent in being long, make sure you offer yourself some type of protection. So if you're further dated long, let's say you're long. I don't know. Let's pick a name. Let's say Nvidia out to next year. You're long through January. Buy a put to protect yourself on the other side. If you're going to hold all the way through, you want to have some type of counterbalance to your overall trade. It doesn't mean dump out if you're in leaps. It kind of means make sure that you're protecting yourself in some capacity, while at the same time make sure you actually have something worth protecting. That's kind of important, to go along with it. So, Mario, you answered that question perfectly. I don't know if there's anything else to really add.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote the movie Ghost and say ditto, because there's not really too much to add there. I would just say I'm with Mario 100%. If it looks good, play the ER run up, but there is no way, and this even goes for a chart too. There's no way that I'm going to hold through ER because, like Hells is saying, you don't know. I mean, well, the contracts are probably already juiced, if you're playing same week expiration, and then you don't know how that's going to react. And then you got to deal with IV crush, and there's so many things that's going on. So if you see some good flow, size, time, urgency, price, and you want to trade that up to ER or kind of get that ER run up, so be it. But don't trade through the ER itself because it's a
Yeah.
straight lottery.
And look, it's a straight lottery, right? And when we all like to gamble, we all like to do that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's like a lot of these ERs. I'll go ahead and throw a couple of $100 at a YOLO just to see if I can hit it and get some moves. I think that I think I'm down like like in doing that, I'm right like 30% of the time I actually make money on it, and 70% of the time. But there's like this thing inside of me that I can't. So I live it limited at a couple of $100. It's like
Hey, that's
that's
better
when
than Vegas.
right. You
Yeah.
know exactly. I've blown more money at a blackjack table, but it's like as long as you're within your means, as long as you know that you're not being abusive with what you're doing. If you
Right.
have a gut move, a gut thing, play it, but don't do it to the point that it hurts yourself on the other side. It is a YOLO. It is a like, well, shit. It's like let's let's give it a run. You know, it's like you feel the juice, play the juice. Just don't be a dipshit in doing it.
I agree.
Well, we love to hear from everyone every week, so we would love it if you would submit your viewer questions. Hit us up at BlackBoxBeat at BlackBoxStocks.com, and we will get that on the air. We hear the music, so we know what that means, folks. It is time to wrap it up. That concludes this week's edition of Black Box Beat. So glad that you joined us. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube page. That way you will know when we are going live every Wednesday. So until next week, everybody, stay green. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.